as I said to you earlier, actually, just before we started, I think blockchain almost needs a rebrand in a way because I think for a lot of people they're not aware of what's possible and what to do. If they got rewarded with it, I'm not sure a lot of people know what to do with it. So
Welcome to the Origin podcast, and today we have the pleasure to welcome Matthew Betés. He's an entrepreneur within the royalty system, and he will be telling us his story. Thank you, Matthew, for being here. How are you today?
very well, yeah, very good. Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Do you live in London?
I do, yeah. I live in West London, so near Twickenham
Okay.
area. Yeah.
And you have been raised as a child also in London?
No, I was raised on the south coast of England, so Chichester. Do you know?
Yeah.
South, yeah,
Yeah.
down there, so right by the sea.
Okay. And when did you arrive in London?
University, really.
Okay.
So I moved up to university in Surrey, and then gradually crept in over time. I spent 3 years in Amsterdam about 8 or 9 years ago, and then
Okay.
came back. And when I came back, we moved to West London.
Okay. And what do you like specifically about London?
Well, I mean, the work is the main thing for
Okay.
us, to be honest. My wife's work is close by. Potential clients for me are close by. I would love to move back to the seaside one day, but
Okay.
the commute for work would just be long. So
Yeah,
Not yet.
it's in the biggest cities that we can find a job more easily
yeah,
or
yeah,
to pursue like some professional
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
But I wish that you will be able to go back near the sea, the ocean. No?
One day. I mean, I've been very lucky that through work I've been able to travel quite a lot around Europe, Asia, and I've been lucky to see lots of cities, and London still is one of my favourites. So,
Okay, super.
yeah,
Matthew, can you tell us who you are
yeah,
and what you are doing currently, and especially from a professional perspective?
sure, yeah, no problem. So, I'm Matthew Betés. I have been in loyalty in the loyalty industry, the loyalty world since I graduated university. Which is a long time ago now, 24, 25 years. I've been lucky enough to work in over 26 different countries around the world in providing loyalty solutions, working with clients that range from big retailers like Carrefour, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, to petrol retailers, to department stores, all the way back to SMEs and scale up and startups, and talking to them about how to do loyalty in the right way, how they can make loyalty work for them to grow their business. And after all that time in the loyalty industry, about a year and a half ago, I've taken the opportunity to start a new venture called More Rewards, which
Okay.
is what I'm currently working on. We've developed something that kind of offers a loyalty solution in a brand new way that hasn't been done before, which is exciting, but also a challenge because you have to, explain it to people in the right
Mhm.
way and start from nothing, from a client base of zero. So, currently doing that across a number of different sectors, and loving it. To be honest, it's what I've always wanted to do. So I'm very lucky.
And what makes your proposition unique in comparison to the other loyalty program?
So we actually work in partnership with MasterCard. I'm an official partner of theirs, and I can produce tailor-made MasterCards for businesses, which they can use to distribute to their customers, and we can turn that MasterCard, that tailor-made MasterCard, into like a loyalty card, a super loyalty card. They get rewards back on the card every time that they spend with that business.
Okay.
And the benefit of that is that once they've accumulated the points on the card, they can just go and spend it back with them straight away. So it's exciting because we're giving people the choice of where to spend their rewards. We're not. It's not. You have to come back to us and buy one get one free offers and coupons. It's giving people a meaningful something back to say.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us, and we appreciate it, and that in turn
Okay.
drives commercial value.
All right. And you were describing me that you are currently working or used to work with a big brand like a big French company like Carrefour.
I've worked with I have through local teams, but I've been lucky enough to visit Carrefour in their offices in France a few times, which
Okay.
is like a city there. I don't know if you've ever been, but
No,
it's huge.
In which
Near
city?
Paris.
Near
Yeah.
Paris. Okay.
Yeah, a few of them: Carrefour, Intermarché, Lidl, a few different French retailers.
And you told me that you have also some awkward meeting with Carrefour because they were not able to speak a single
well, I
word.
mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was. I was traveling to France, so I guess I should have been prepared to try some French, but my French is not great. My Spanish is okay. My French is not, and I remember having this great meeting with some very senior people at Carrefour, and there was, I think there must have been 20 people in the room, something like that,
Yeah.
and about 2 hours long. And I didn't understand a word and didn't contribute anything. So it was. So I have met with Carrefour, but I haven't actually said anything to Carrefour before.
We usually say that the English, the French citizen or the French people doesn't know how to speak a word in English.
Which is fair.
It's coming from our educations.
Yeah.
And if we are observating, for instance, the people from Netherlands, we know that from the childhood they are in front of cartoons, for instance, with English soundtracks and with the Dutch subtitles.
Yeah.
So that's a more easy way for them to learn. But
well, I lived in the Netherlands for 3 years, and I picked up a few words. But honestly, again, they were so it was almost like if you tried to speak Dutch, they would go back to English because their English was just so much better.
Than my Dutch
great. Could be.
And they have a great accent.
Absolutely.
Also as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Talking about your company, so. You are the founder of this company.
Yeah.
Current chief executive officer.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You how many people you are working with within the company?
So we're right at startup stage, really, even though it's been about a year now. So it's still just myself. However, we are kind of at the stage where we've got. There's a couple of different industries we're looking at, but the primary one that I've been focusing on is sports. So we have 3 different sports clubs that we're talking to at the moment about a potential solution to start September this year. So we're in the final kind of stages with 3 different clubs.
Okay.
So hopefully we're just right before we start to expand a bit to cope with that.
Can you explain to someone that doesn't know the loyalty economy? Because I think there is a true mechanism, a true engineering on how to run a loyalty program. Can you explain it? How do you elaborate a loyalty program and how does it work exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my impression of loyalty is that it is a bit misunderstood, I think, from most people. There's kind of and then others, think there's this kind of dark art to it. But I was told, I don't know if this is true, so I hope I don't get fact checked for this, but I was told that the first ever loyalty program was right back when the people were trading tea with China, and we were trading tea with China, and some of the farmers of the tea would start putting decorated Chinese plates in with some of the boxes that they were shipping over to England as a gift, so this is something extra that you get, and that meant that people were buying those particular farmers tea rather than anyone else because they were getting something extra that was in with the tea that was kind of like a thank you for doing business with us. And that's what I've been told was the world's first loyalty program. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a nice story, and I've always thought that's the fundamental of loyalty, is that giving something back, and if you can give something kind of the more meaningful thing that you give back, normally the better a loyalty program works. So a loyalty program is really anything that rewards people over the long term, keeps people coming back to you, keeps retention, but the best ones, they do that through something meaningful and connecting with people in a real way. It's almost it's similar to gamification in some way. It's that surprise, like, oh wow, like this is something I would never have expected, but it's like it's like any relationship, isn't it? It's what you give back, you kind of get. So.
And the loyalty, in which form it take place? Are we talking about points? Are we talking about gifts? Like, I can imagine that there is a lot of ways in order to create a loyalty program, but according to your solutions with your company, what do you propose?
I've been lucky enough again to do, to design loyalty programs in many different ways, with physical products, with offers, with, I've seen things out there with digital reward solutions, and there are, ultimately it's trying to find out what resonates, what would people want,
Yeah.
what do they want back, because if you're giving someone something that's of no interest to them, it's not a real gift, is it? You know, you're not showing any recognition of them or their passions or what they believe in or anything else. So, and that's why, you know, More Rewards is different, because what we're giving back through these Mastercards that we're doing is cash. You know, it's money, and especially in tough times that people find themselves in now, that choice of where to spend that reward, you know, I really believe it should be up to them to do that, and that's what's going to make what we do really effective, is that choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
The royalty program, is it always a win-win for the customers and the company, or do you have any experiences in which the royalty program can cause some financial loss to a company? Because I can imagine it's an asset.
Yeah.
I think they should be considered as on the balance sheet also of the company treasury. There is any way maybe for companies in difficulty in which the royalty program can become a loss?
It's a really interesting question, actually. Yeah, I mean, I think with, you know, again, it kind of goes back to that principle of what you give, you get back. But the instinct of many businesses, especially when they're going through difficult times, is to scale back on spend. So even if it's, you know, marketing spend, let's advertise less, let's cut it, because I think a lot of parts of business see that spend as a cost rather than an investment, because that's the thing that gets left out. You know, that there is a return on these things, you get something back from it, and you know, I think loyalty is considered in the same way. And the only times I've ever really seen it fail is when the business takes more out of it than the consumer.
I see.
And I have seen, you know, examples with physical products where you're giving something away, but then the customer has to contribute to it a lot, you know, and even if they're saving something, and those types of programs, I have seen them just break even. You know, they don't really make any meaningful difference to anyone's business, and in fact, you know, and from a consumer's point of view, that they age very quickly. You know, there's the repetition of them kind of gets on people's nerves, and you know, so it's like any area of marketing, I guess, that there are good examples and bad examples, but you know, I haven't seen a loyalty program ever harm a business, to be honest. I don't think. I mean, I have seen, funny enough, I've seen them be so successful that it's, you know, in the wrong way, that it's created like hysteria. I've seen, you know, videos of people running into stores and trying to get things that are on a loyalty offer that you know, was probably a mistake that they shouldn't have been.
And you were right to talk about the gamification. It's like when you are attached to a loyalty program that makes sense for you, you want to make everything possible in order to reach the goal or the better statue, and to get a lot of benefits directly from this royalty program.
Exactly. And you know, with loyalty programs, you know, you are trying to, I think if you're transparent, you know, you are trying to lock people. You want, obviously, people to spend with you more than anyone else. You don't want them to pick anyone else, you want them to go with you, and a big part of that is your offering. But you know, if you can give something else on top that inspires people to do that, then I think you know, they deserve to some of the benefit that you're getting from them back. You know, that's the key to a really good program.
And in your opinion, if you are taking a look at all the loyalty program for the biggest companies, maybe airlines or supermarket, etc., like which company has the best loyalty program, or which group of companies are the best loyalty programs today, according to you?
More Rewards has the best. No, there's lots of good. There are lots of good examples out there. I think one that, you know, that's sort of led the way a lot is Amex, with their, you know, business spend, personal, you know, that sort of thing. It's kind of, it's got a very similar ethos to what I believe in, what we do in More Rewards. You know, it's that give back. It's things that you know, you can have the choice to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are a lot of big retailers who treat loyalty, you know, in a very kind of what kind of way, comprehensive way, that also have some meaningful things out there. Lidl particularly do I think they do their loyalty program very effectively. So that there's a few different ones out there that I would go, this is great, or that's great.
And especially because Amex is building a big connectivity or relationship of royalty program because they are connected to airlines, to hotels, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. They are they're pulling in lots of different ways of linking people to different products that are in an ecosystem, and that's again that's something that is, I think, the next generation of loyalty programs out there is how can you start to build it so that
Absolutely.
There's a customer that's getting rewarded for this, that, and the other, and they're all linked together.
Yeah.
And that's also something that I've spoken to a few different customers about recently.
My next question is like, what do you think is the future of the royalty program? How do you see it evolve in 10 to 20 years from now? And maybe we can talk about blockchain also. As well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, I think, blockchain, as I said to you earlier, actually, just before we started, I think blockchain almost needs a rebrand in a way, because I think for a lot of people, they're not aware of what's possible and what to do. If they got rewarded with it, I'm not sure a lot of people know what to do with it. So, but saying that, I do think that it will be a part of the future. Again, it's picking up on, if what's important to people at this moment, what do they need that's going to be the most meaningful thank you can give.
Absolutely.
And blockchain, I think, is definitely going to be a part of that going forward. I think the trend will continue to go towards the digital side of things. A big part of apart from giving something meaningful back, another big incentive or priority for me around more rewards has been to make it easy for people. Because again, I think that's the second way that loyalty programs or reward programs can often fall down, is if it's just too difficult. There's too many steps that a consumer has to step through to redeem or to take part in it. So again, I think the idea of a hassle-free program that means that you just, similar to the solution that we have where you just put your details in and things are automatic.
Exact.
That's definitely going to be the future, I think.
And you are right about the fact that blockchain needs to be simplified in some ways, because we can see that most of the demographic and the people using the blockchain technology are tech-savvy people. And that's true that today blockchain is offer great promises in terms of technology. Sometimes there is some stereotype about blockchain being exclusively speculation. And I think that's why people came into the blockchain. That's to be rich very quick by investing into the blockchain. But there is a wonderful use cases for the blockchain, and especially from a loyalty program. And we can see some airlines right now.
It's Etihad, isn't it? I think they have.
I remember an airlines from South America.
Right.
They are delivering NFT to their customers, and with these NFTs, they can travel as long as they want. Right. And there is a second-hand market for these NFTs because they can decide to resell it. And then when I buy it, I can travel as many as I want with this NFT. Yeah. So we are seeing more and more people adopting NFTs. But I think that one of the obstacles today for the NFT and the blockchain adoption is the simplification. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's crazy because so I feel it because I used to talk about my project to different customers, but sometimes they are looking at me with eyes like, I don't understand what you are saying. And simplification is the key word for me because we all have a smartphone, we have Amex, etc. There are underlying technologies, but we don't care about how the technology works. We only care about the direct, tangible benefits. And I think that's what we need to highlight. Please tell me with what kind of customers you are currently working with.
So I think I won't be specific if that's okay, but I've got so we're in final preparations with 3 different sports clubs across different football leagues in the UK, which is really exciting. A couple of top tier teams as well, which is brilliant because again, I've had to make contact and talk to people from scratch in this industry, which has been a challenge, but also rewarding. I'm also talking to people in the boating sector as well, so marinas, companies, e-commerce, where else? Retail. Okay. So another great thing about the more reward solution is it is applicable across different industries, which is great.
Okay. And I have my next question.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
It was about your business model. I want to understand how your company is making money because you have a B2B approach, a B2B2C approach, I would say. But how do you make money?
It's funny. throughout the 25 years of loyalty that I've always had that B2B B2C, which is interesting. So I charge customers based on in a top line way I would describe it is that they invest a certain amount of their overall turnover, which is tiny, less than 1% by far, but they get back 5 to 10% sales increase as a result of what we do.
Okay.
That's the basic premise. I mean, in specifics, I charge honestly as little as I possibly can at the moment, because obviously I'm very keen to show that the solution can work and that it's going to be something that's going to make an impact, and I'm really keen to get it up and running and to demonstrate that.
Okay.
But in truth, it's in principle what we're doing in terms of the mechanism is no different than what I've been doing for the last 20 years with retailers. So
all right.
And I think it can even do better than a lot of the physical reward programs that I've done in the past, which have achieved 5% above for 10,000 stores. So I think it's got a lot of potential to be a real commercial driver for people, which is great, because again, as you'll know from a lot of marketing activities, getting a 5% to 10% increase in sales overall business is like
Absolutely.
it almost can't be achieved. It's really difficult to do it.
And what are the deliverables? I mean, are you providing a technical solution? Are you providing expertise? Are you providing like logistics, or maybe a combination of
everything?
Of the
to
three?
be honest, it's end to end. So right from consultation of what the solution needs to achieve for them, to the mechanism design, because that is a big part of this as well. How much is that sweet spot between what you give away to how much that's going to motivate people, and what the result to get your return, which is something that again it's very easy to get that wrong.
Okay.
All the way through to the delivery of the cards to customers, to the activation, and the big part of the investment for this personally for me has been the digital back end, which through partners who are very well versed in open banking and other smart solutions there have made it so that it's a seamless solution that actually doesn't need any integration with the client systems at all, which is brilliant.
Absolutely. And the main objective, according to you, to a loyalty program is what? Retention?
I think I definitely, if you talk to customers, people will have a very different answer, I think, on that question, because some people will say, it should be we want to understand our customers more, or we want to engage them with our brand more, or we want to incentivize them to spend more on this area. So there can be lots of different benefits. But again, I think if you do loyalty in the right way, the commercial benefits of a loyalty program can just be huge. There can be so much that I've even seen it change market share indexes for companies, big companies. So I always believe that the commercial side should be the biggest priority, not just because of how much the client gets back, but again, if they're investing in it in the right way, that they want to get a big return, that does mean that they have to do the right thing for the customer. So it's almost like a chicken and egg analogy there. As long as the commercials are robust and that they're anticipating that they're going to get a big participation, the only way you do that is by giving away something good.
Okay.
And then I think beyond that, a lot of the other things that people talk about, like data and engagement, that's, I wouldn't say it's secondary, but if you're doing the commercial part in the right way, that should be a part of your solution, and that's again, that's the belief I have right now. Data and engagement are absolutely important, but I would always lead with a commercial approach.
And do you have like some general statistics in terms of sales or maybe retention before adopting a loyalty program and after adopting a loyalty program?
Well, I mean, I've honestly I've done a lot of analysis on this. Participation of programs can vary hugely depending on what it is, to be honest. But you can see up to, like, if it's an offer like the More Rewards offer, which we're aiming to put into market, we're anticipating 80 to 90% of people participating, which is big.
Yeah.
But again, it's a bit about what you're giving back and breaking down the barriers. As soon as you add barriers or you take away the size of the reward you're getting back, then that drops, and it just drops and drops and drops and drops.
Okay.
So it really does depend a bit on how you've designed it in the first place.
Okay. So we have been talking about your current job within your company. What I propose you now is to go back a little bit in the past and to talk about maybe your childhood. What was your hobby when you were a kid or a teenager?
I love football because my grandfather was a professional footballer in Spain. So he played for Atletico Madrid in Spain, and
right.
we were brought up on football, and my dad was quite into that space, as you can imagine, which is funny because now I'm working with sports clubs. Maybe that's got something to do with it. This is like a therapy session, I'm just realizing. But other passions. Growing up, another thing, my parents always had their own businesses as well, so that's something that I certainly looked at and thought that would be nice to do that one day. I actually think I knew from quite a young age that I wanted to have my own business. It just took me a long time to have an idea that I thought was, worthy enough that I had a really good shot of success.
Okay.
I'm also I play hockey as well, field hockey. I don't know if you've ever played field hockey. That's why I've got these scars on my eyes.
Is it popular in the UK? Hockey?
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, not as popular as football and rugby and cricket, I think, but it's top 5.
Okay.
But when I was in Holland, it was
because it's a big sport in Canada and in the US also.
But you're thinking of ice hockey, are you?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about field hockey.
I see.
With a ball on a pitch.
Okay. And talking about football, so your family is coming from Spain.
Yes.
So they migrate from Spain to UK?
Yeah, my grandfather grew up during the war in Madrid. And
the Civil War.
The Civil War, and then he moved over to the UK, and he started working in the restaurant business. So that was his business, and he worked in a few of the big places in London, like Rules Restaurant and a few others like that, until he started his own place, and married his wife, my grandmother, and they had a family, and then. I think he had that for about 6-7 years, and then he decided to move back to Spain. So then he had his own restaurant in the south of Spain, and that's been their family run actually for our. We've still got it. My auntie runs it in Spain.
So you have a lot of families in Spain. That's why you speak a little bit hablas español.
See, I should have more, but I should speak more, but
Okay, super. And about the support from your parents.
Yes.
So I imagine as entrepreneurs, you receive a lot of support from them when you decided to start your own businesses. Or it was not the case?
No, absolutely, it was the case. Definitely. Yeah. It's funny because I've been doing this new venture now for about a year and a half, and I thought at the start this is going to be great working from home. I'm going to, and it has been fantastic spending more time with. I've got 2 young children, so it's great to spend more time with the kids, and but it's also quite a lonely existence, being there 5 days a week. However nice your house is, it's still you're stuck in one place, and so having support from my dad, being able to sound things off him, but also just in all the basics of as you all know, starting a business, it's not. That if there's a manual, I haven't found it, because it's an up and down, really up and down situation. That's the way I found it. One day you think this is going to be the best thing in the world, and then the next day you think this is never going to work.
And I'm sure it's not your first company that you created.
It's my second one. Yeah. So I have I had another one which was part. I was a smaller percentage owner of for a while. So it's not my first venture into this sort of world, and that's also been really beneficial, having gone through the startup process before has really helped.
What about the university? Did you went to the university, and what kind of studies?
I went to Surrey University, which is Guildford, and I studied business management, more because I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I wanted to keep my options really open. So I went for
just want to
business.
To be independent and to make money.
Exactly. No? That was very much so. It's like hopefully I'll get some inspiration here to of money making opportunity in something. So that was, yeah. So I chose something really wide open to study and to try and get as much knowledge on as much things within marketing business as I could.
Okay.
And then just ended up in loyalty through a chance. Really, it wasn't something that I ever went. That's what I'm going to be in for the rest of my life. But yeah.
And did you went to the did you go to the loyalty side of the business just after the university, or
Straight away?
it came later?
No, so I actually stayed at I worked at a business as soon as I graduated university, and I was at that business for 18 years, so a long time. I stayed in one market business which provides loyalty programs all over the world, and had a wonderful experience there. I was very lucky. That was where I kind of got my loyalty education, I think. But
Okay.
I was there a long time.
Yeah, for how long?
18 years.
18
Yeah,
years
yeah,
within
18
the
years.
same companies.
Yeah. So, I was very lucky. I was treated very nicely, and I still have a great relationship with the guys there and the owners, and it was a great company.
Is this company like a direct competitor, or did you find a pain point
No,
in which you can bring value?
No, I mean they're the leading provider of like physical loyalty solutions in the world. So
Okay.
so I'm a dot compared to them, but also no, we're slightly different.
All right.
They don't. The sectors that I'm working in are something that's not really of any interest to what they do. Luckily, yeah, because I would never have. Yeah, it wouldn't have felt right, I don't think, to do something.
And so 18 years within this company, like, do you have any crazy stories that happens, like very specific demands from customers, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few interesting ones. I do remember there was one customer, I won't say the name, but there was a big European retailer, and we had the license for a range of products with Pele, the famous footballer Pele, and he'd put together these products, and his idea was, let's give these things out as a reward so we can get kids into sport and we can educate people in the benefits of sport. And they decided that they wanted to do something with us, but they also wanted to meet Pele and have him come to a store. And I remember thinking, I don't know if he's gonna. Why would Pele? He's got better things to do than visit a supermarket in Europe. And but anyway, in the end, we managed to figure it out. But to get there, he actually visited two customers for us, and to get there, we had like this private jet that was sorted from the customer gave it to us actually to transport him on. So it was I just you have those moments where you think like, this is just. I was sitting on this private jet and I was going to a supermarket, but Pele was on the flight, and it was bizarre. It was wonderful. He was such a fantastic man, like genuinely fantastic, but bizarre experience.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And something interests me also, because we were discussing about the fact to be an entrepreneur, because we want to be independent, we want to be free in some regards, we want to make money. But at the same time, it can create also a lot of uncertainty about the future, because when you are employees, you have a monthly wage that is coming every month. When you are entrepreneurs, you have a stairways in front of you. What was in French we call it the déclic, the light in which you decided, okay, I want to quit my full-time job and to go into entrepreneurship?
It's a really good question. I always knew I wanted to do something on my own. I think from a very young age. Again, maybe it was because of my parents' business, so I always knew. But I never had that idea. But when I was after I'd been at that company for 20 odd years, I actually reached out to someone, a guy called Tony Holmes, who's a friend of my dad's, and he's been he's done a lot of different roles in a lot of different things. But he actually. I guess at that point I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I guess I'd been so used to being somewhere for so long that I just didn't even know where to start. And he took me back to strengths, and we did a few different exercises on what about you is something that is your strength, because once you can connect with your strength, and that normally those are the same things that make you happy, things that you're good at. Let's be honest, if you're good at a sport and you play it, you're happy playing it, and they're the things that you pursue. So we started to look at strengths, and figured out that independence was a big part of my strength, but also something that that would make me happy, and
Okay.
and basically everything about my profile was about doing something on my own, and I think it took me that moment of like, okay, reset, rather than I'll just go to apply for another job here or another, I had to reset in my mind, okay, what do I really want?
Yeah.
And it took someone else to make me realize that, honestly. But once I did, it allowed me to go, okay, how can I get to that? Then it becomes let's do a roadmap and try and I'm sure you've been through similar things. There's going to be curves in the white road that change things, and it's not going to be ever how you planned it. But that was the moment for me when I realized, actually, maybe I'm not meant to be, doing something for someone else. Maybe doing something for myself is what I've always meant to be doing.
And how was the 6 months before you started the business? 6 months after, like, did you write a white paper, do a website, raise some funds? Like, how did you start?
A lot of my this new venture is personally funded, which is good because I have the freedom to do what I would like from the development side and everything else. But then also, the flip side of that is the risk and the fact that this really you need to make this work. A lot of this was. There was also another eureka moment when I was looking into the development of this, when I met someone from a tech side that transformed the idea, and it really pivoted, because what I thought More Rewards was going to be, actually what it is now, is two completely different things, and a lot of it's because of open banking and some of the tech that I had no idea that was possible. I think I definitely knew that there was an appetite for something in this area from my loyalty experience, but saying that, it's probably the biggest gamble that I've ever made, because again, it's a new product. So even though I know for a fact from my experience that it's got a potential to do some really great things, because it's personally funded, there is an element of risk.
Did you identify a particular obstacle during this business construction?
Oh, so many.
Yeah,
I'm still every day. I don't know about you, with your experience of having a business. Do you have constant obstacles in the way?
I started in 2014. I created like 5 or 6 different companies. Yeah. And the one that is successful for now, I have been created like 3 years ago. Okay. So it's a lot of absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, every day is sort of an obstacle in terms of different challenges, but I do feel that the big ones are overcome. The ability to really do what we want to do is there. Everything from a development point of view is done, and it's the nice thing now is to get to clients and go, okay, let's talk about how we can help, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
How you can really help get people to. I mean, especially in the sports industry, where you've got fans that go to a football club, and if the football club isn't doing well, they're not that happy, obviously. Yeah. But to be able to give a little bit back to those fans that are making you so successful, is for me, it's like key to growth and key to engaging people long term. And
super exciting. Yeah. What is the roadmap for your company?
Well, hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have 5 or 6 different programs running in the UK. What I'd really like to do is to take this international, because there's no reason why something here couldn't work in France or Spain or Italy. So that's probably the next step. It feels like a long way off, but yeah.
My family is also strongly connected to the French football team, and Portugal also as well.
Really?
Because my uncle was one of the trainer in PSG. Paris Saint-Germain.
Really? Wow.
His name is Beunardeau. I have my cousin also as well playing. So he used to play in Portugal for 5 to 6 years. Now he came to Paris.
Right.
So if you want me
PSG
also,
as well?
if you sorry,
does he play for
no,
PSG?
not PSG, because it's I think the League 2.
Okay.
There is a different league, so not PSG, but another club in Paris.
Oh wow.
So we could collaborate also to spread the word if you want
to
highlight on the sport club.
I would also love to talk about NFCs as reward as well at some point. So we should talk
absolutely.
About that. Yeah.
There is so many things that we can do also with NFTs. Usually it's because we used to work with a royalty program, so we are minting an NFT for each individual as a digital identity. And linked to this, we will distribute tokens that they can exchange for physical assets or exchange for money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, it sounds really interesting. I'd like to get into it more.
Absolutely,
definitely.
And I had one last question also as well, is concerning the royalty program. Do you see use cases in which the royalty program can benefit the customers, but also the employees, in which the companies maybe will be rewarding the employees for increase additional sales, performance, etc.?
There are more. There's a few more legal things to bear in mind within company programs, but there are quite a few different providers out there that specialize in this way. I think it's a great. Again, maybe it's one of those areas that in the next 2 to 3 years there's going to be some more progress on. I think whilst there's some good things going on out there, there's definitely a huge amount of opportunity to do more.
Okay.
I think especially if you're a big corporate, somewhere that's massive, has a huge amount of staff, and it's something that might not be the biggest priority, and having either an external provider or some sort of digital system that automatically gives out rewards based on actions, I think could be really, really good.
Where can the people find more information about you, about your business? Like, do you run social medias, or
yes,
do you have a website?
Yeah, so www.more-rewards.co.uk is our website. But the best place is to follow myself on LinkedIn, or follow the company, and lots of good stuff coming out soon, hopefully.
Thank you, Matthew. Do you have a final remarks for this interview?
No, do you know what? Thank you. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you for your time, and
Thank
it's
you.
really great to be here and to have some time to talk to you. And no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.